Hey guys, so we are going to make an owl Christmas ornament today, and I've attached all 6 of my 40-inch cord onto a 1.5-inch metal ring. Now you can use string for that, you can use jute, a wooden ring, whatever you'd like. This is just going to be, I'm going to put a string on there to hang it from. Anyhow, so let's get started. I'm going to not be knotting with these two, the very end two. So I'm going to do a square knot with these two, and then one in the center. Okay, so now that our 3 square knots are done, I'm going to take the very farthest cord and I'm going to use that as my filler cord or my guide, and I'm going to bring it right to the center there, doing double hitch knots. I'm going to do the same from the other side once more, using the farthest rope there as my filler and just working my way down. Okay, so now that both sides are done, I am going to, this one seems like the knots are a little bit higher on there, so I'm going to continue with this one as my filler and do the double hitch on there just to close the center part up. Okay, so now that we are done that V coming down, I'm going to take these center 4, I'm going to make a square knot. This is going to be kind of like the nose. Okay, so for the next part, we're going to do these 2 outer edges of the owl's head, and how we're going to do that is the very outer one will be our filler cord, and then this one, only the very next rope is going to be doing the knotting, and it's going to be those lark's head knots. So I'll go over it. It's going to go over, behind, so you should get that little loop like that, and pull it up, and then for the next one you go behind, up, over, and through that loop, so it looks like that, and then you pull it and you can see it makes that little lark's head knot. So again, go over and then from behind. See, so now we're going to do 5 of these on either side. Now it's time to add the eyes, so I'm just using these small wooden beads. They're 1 centimeter, and as you can see they have quite a decent sized hole in the center there, so I will not need to tape up my ends as I usually do to get the rope to fit through. So now that those little eyes are on there, we're going to make the bottom of the face, and these 2 center cords are going to be our guides. So I'm going to take the one on the left hand side and I'm going to do diagonal clove hitch knots all the way to the very last cord there. Okay, now I'm just going to do the same thing for the other side, knotting with each rope all the way to the very end. Now that we are done the face of the owl, we're going to start on the wings and then we'll do the body. So how we're going to do it, we're going to do the same as up here, but instead of doing 5, we're going to do 6 of these lark's head knot. But this time we will use the second one because it is quite a bit shorter this time. We're going to use that one as our filler. So over and then behind. Okay, so that's 1, and we'll just do 6 the whole way down on both sides. So now that we are done those wings, we are going to start the body, and only for the first row are we going to use the first one from the other side as our guide rope. This is just going to close up this area, okay? And we are going to do hitch knots, and then we're going to be adding another cord as well. So now that we've gotten to the end of the cords, we use the first one on this side as our guide. We are going to add another rope. This is an 18-inch cord. I folded it right in half. I'm going to put it behind that one, over, and pull it through that loop just so it's like a reverse lark's head knot, and it will match those other knots on there, okay? Now we'll do the same for the other side. So we will be using this one that's coming out and start our hitch knots. Okay, now for the next row, we're not going to crisscross those, so we'll go right to the center. So there should be 5 cords plus the filler, 5 cords plus the filler on each side. And I'm going to take the very first one from this side, and this is going to be my guide. And I'm going to do hitch knots the whole way down. Okay, the first one's done, and I've even knotted on that first guide rope there, and we're just going to do the same for the opposite side. Okay, so now we've done those full rows on either side, and we're going to do full rows just one more time on both sides the exact same way we just did it. Okay, so now we're going to do another row of hitch knots, but this time we're going to start to make these taper down and get a little bit smaller, so we are not going to include the previous filler cords as we did before. Okay, so it's just going to come down over those ones and down over those ones. Okay, so now as we come down one more row, once again, we are going to be leaving out all of those filler cords, those previous cords. So that means we are just going to be doing 1, 2, 3 of the double hitch knots for this row. All right, so we are done this part of the body, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these center cords, so you can see those two are really short. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, the 4 centermost in the middle, and I'm going to do a square knot over top of them. There we go. And now with these, to connect them, I'm going to bring this on top of those cords, and with the string that just did that square knot, so coming right out of that knot, I'm going to do one more of those lark's head knots. So I'm going to go over, pull it in nice and tight, and then from behind, sorry, this is not very clear. Okay, so there's one. And now I'm going to take that same guide rope and find that cord that just did the square knot, and I'm going to go over. I'm going to pull that up nice and close, and then one from behind. There. So now that most of our knotting is done, I'm going to turn it around. I have my piece of about 18-inch cord, and I'm just making a little loop with it. I'm going to gather all these cords. I'm just going to do the gathering knot, so keeping that loop in place and that one piece up there. Pull it back through that loop, and then that piece that we left out, you just tug it up. And that string that's coming out, you definitely want to cut it, because if you pull it, the whole knot's going to come undone. Now from here, all we have to do is adjust that front part